Guys, it's like clockwork. It genuinely is. Now, when Keir Starmer says something, expect it to turn out to be the complete opposite. For a long time, Keir Starmer has been saying that we're going to be ending the use of asylum hotels by 2029. This is probably a phrase, you've probably heard quite a lot of times throughout the last year. I mean, I've shared plenty of videos of him talking about that. But there's been a new revelation, ladies and gentlemen, and a new big £10 billion deal to extend the asylum accommodation till 2039. Yes, Starmer's lies collapse as the Home Office expose the truth. Starmer says one thing, the Home Office says the complete opposite. And as I said, the official steps are in progress to extend. As always, guys, we are going to be breaking down this story, but first, please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And if you haven't already followed my Instagram yet, guys, please do. It's DanPWD. Let's get into the video. You've seen the state of this country. Now wear the message. Wankir, Stuck Farmer, Liber. Shop the full collection by going down into the link in the description or heading over to BritishStan.com. So yes, here you can see, guys, Labour planning £10 billion splurge on asylum housing contracts stretching to 2039, despite promising to end the use of migrant hotels. Labour has begun planning for taxpayer-funded asylum contracts to extend till 2039. The potential decade-long contracts, reported to be worth £10 billion, would come despite the government's promise to end the use of migrant hotels. The Home Office told GB News that it plans to improve the management of the contracts, attributing the high cost of asylum contracts to the previous Conservative government. They have invited potential suppliers to discuss terms for housing migrants from 2029 to 2036, with a possible extension to 2039. The initial 7-year period would see taxpayers chipping in with an average of £1.4 billion per year, according to the Times. The estimate means the cost to taxpayers will almost be the same amount as it currently is. The reported plans also include an extensive list of service that needs to be supplied to asylum seekers, including a company to provide transport 24/7, 365 days a year, that is timely and responsive to asylum seekers' needs. Oh my God, I'm getting frustrated reading this. It requires an IT booking system and ensuring the transport of asylum seekers, their dependents and permitted belongings with appropriate assistance and within agreed timescales. Home Office sources said that the new contracts were likely to restrict contractors from using hotels to house asylum seekers apart from exceptional circumstances. The use of hotels to house asylum seekers have been heavily criticised across Britain, with protests and marches taking up and down the country. Now, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing what I actually said this a little while back. We're seeing them go from housing so they're not dealing with a problem here, as you can see. I mean, they're already planning for 2039. And again, it's going to still cost the taxpayer the exact amount. And this is what I actually said at the time when there were protests were happening outside the hotels. Well, they're simply going to, yes, maybe abolish asylum hotels, but they won't stop the asylum seekers from coming in or the illegal migrants from coming in. Instead, they'll sprinkle them about in HMOs, which will be harder to identify who's staying where. If they just sprinkled in a house next door to you, then, well, there's no sort of congregation point on where people can protest and, go against what the government are doing. However, you're seeing here that they are going to do this. So they are literally doing everything other than actually trying to stop the illegal migrant crisis and the boat crossings. So they simply they're preparing for 2039, which suggests now that the boats won't stop. We're dealing with that now. The boats won't stop. And we already know that. If you watched today's first video where we reacted to Elon Musk and Joe Rogan, they literally said the reason as to why the left want to import illegal migrants. In fact, let's watch the video for those of you who haven't already watched it.
And if you are just like, but what is the purpose of allowing all those people into the country? It can't be. I wouldn't imagine that anyone in their society supports this.
Well, let me explain. So because you mentioned, for example, how much, say, Hillary and Obama have changed their tune from prior speeches where they were hard-nosed about not letting in anyone who's a criminal into the country. Having secure borders, all that stuff. So why did they change their tune? The reason is that they discovered that those people vote for them. That's why they want the open borders.
Because if you let people in, they know the Democrats let them in, they'll vote for Democrats.
Yes.
If you allow them to vote.
Which they're actively doing. They turn a blind eye to illegal voting.
Well, California literally doesn't allow you to show your license.
California and New York have made it illegal to show your photo ID when voting. Thus, effectively, they've made it impossible to prove fraud. Impossible. They've essentially legalized fraudulent voting in California and New York and many other parts of the country.
There's no rational explanation that I've ever seen anyone give as to why that would be the policy. Unless you were trying to just allow people to vote illegally, because there's no other reason. If you need a driver's license or you need an ID for everything else,
yes,
including just recently to prove that you were vaccinated.
The same people who are demanding that you have a vaccine passport and are the same ones saying you need no ID to vote. Same people.
Right, but like...
So it's obviously hypocritical and inconsistent.
Now, whilst they're talking about the United States here, they did this. This is the topic of, they were speaking for about 25 minutes, but they were about the UK and Europe and the illegal migration, the open border policy. But that's what they're doing in real time here. This is what they're doing in real time. It's clear to see. That's why Keir Starmer's so confident that he's going to be staying until 2029. You've heard him say it himself. He's in it for 10 years. You know, he's the most hated prime minister in all of history. That's not my opinion. Well, it is my opinion, but it's what the statistics say. That's what the polls say. It's what the opinion polls say. He's the most unpopular prime minister ever in British history. Now, again, he's already, and Labour are already planning for 2039. They know something that's coming. And again, this is Elon Musk coming out just yesterday saying why they do this, why left-wing governments allow people to come in, because, well, they're trying to get them to become voters. Now you're seeing it clear. Guys, this is an article from today. Labour planning £10 billion splurge on asylum housing contracts stretching to 2039. Despite promising to end the use of migrant hotels. So yeah, maybe they're promising to end the migrant hotels, but stick them in a HMO, stick them in your residency, and it's harder to actually locate where these individuals are staying. So they're staying. So there is going to be no sort of protests. And then they'll go, oh, well, you wanted the end of asylum hotels. No, we're going to have to wait till 2039 to get them out of HMOs, which they'll just keep, pandering and pushing this sort of narrative. But again, you can see it clear as day. If they wanted to stop this invasion, they stop the boats. That's it. It's simple. I don't know why people I get stressed out because it's so frustrating, but people seem to think that there is no magic wand that you can wave to stop the boats. There literally is. You can stop the boats tomorrow, pretty much. And yeah, this is obviously Labour's agenda. This is Keir Starmer's big plan. And this is, of course, why this individual is so confident that he's going to be staying in power beyond the next general election, which is, of course, in 2029. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on this down there in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all later. Take care. Peace.